Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the March 16th, 2026 Rules Committee meeting. If we would start with introductions, and we'll start on my left with Mr. Delaney, please.
Good afternoon, y'all. Bill Delaney, not Garrett Dennis, with the Mayor's Office.
Colleen Hampsey, Council Research.
Carla Schell, Office of General Counsel.
Trista Caraher, Council Auditor's Office.
Ken Amaro, City Council, District 1.
Randy White, District 12.
Terrence Freeman, at large, Group 1.
Chris Miller, at large, Group 5.
Ron Salem, Group 2 at large.
Mike Gay, District 2.
Michael Boylan, District 6.
Nick Howland, at large, Group 3, just visiting.
All right. Thank you all very much. Do we have any public speaking cards? We have two. Okay. We have two. We'll start with Mr. Blake Harper, followed by John Nooney. And please, if you would, please speak to one of the actions we're going to take up today. If you want to take time for other remarks, we could take care of that outside of this meeting, but if you'll please stay focused on the legislation we're considering today. Mr. Harper, you're up first. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Blake Harper, information on file. I'm talking about 140 today. Some of you probably are going to wonder why I'm so exercised about 140. I had a meeting with Donna Deegan, folks from the Unity Project, and at the end of it, she told me we did not understand what white supremacy is. What you're looking at is a political advertisement from after Civil War, and it says, the Democrat Party is for the white man. The Republican Party is for the Negro. I think that pretty much explains where I'm coming from. The assault on Jacksonville's history started 9 years ago with Ben Frazier and his self-confessed Marxist wingman, Wells Todd, have taken down infamy. Their demands include removing all Confederate statues and edifices, changing all the names of Confederate origin, changing the names of the bridges, and even the name of this city. Besides loud, intimidating public demonstrations outside City Hall and across the city, Frazier, Todd and Company harassed city council meetings with their racially divisive and verbally abusive tactics. Abuse of public comment was so disruptive that city council cut back its public comment from 2 untimed sessions to one lasting 90 minutes. At the same time, city council was city property was being defiled and vandalized, and property public holiday celebrations were being disrupted across Northeast Florida. They took their urban intimidation to school board meetings when it considered changing the names of schools. Imagine being told that because somebody had gray hair, they were going to die soon, so they should shut up. All the while, civil rights group leaders like Richard Danford of the Urban League told Ben Frazier to stop engaging in such tactics he was using. And that is exactly what has happened as a downtown homeless center, Downtown Ecumenical Services, is now asking City Council to change the name of Confederate Street to Rose Arbor Way so as to not upset the sensibility of their clients. The reality is clear. The tactics have changed, but the goal remains the same. People are offended by the word Confederate for one reason, but they don't understand the real reason they should be offended or of whom they should be offended. It has nothing to do with the words Confederate or white. Democrats and liberals don't want people to find out the truth. In classic Saul Alinsky fashion, Democrats and liberals have placed on the Confederates their bad acts of reimposing economic and political slavery on former slaves. And they will use every possible tactic to keep the truth of their acts from being hidden, including using the cover of a well-meaning and righteous homeless services group. Council members focus on the facts. Do not be swayed by a narrative based on emotions and falsehoods. Protect history so that we all can learn from it. Our wrongs of the past and our successful effort to right those wrongs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Next is John Nooney.
Hello.
I am John J. Nooney. Jacksonville City Council Resolution 2023-0819. I'm in City Council District 4, CPAC, Planning District 3, School Board District 3. The next Vice President of the Jacksonville City Council at Large, Councilman Colonel Chris Miller, FWC, Fishing with the Colonel.
All right, Mr. Nooney, I appreciate the support. However,
I know.
Please focus on the bills.
Oh, I will. Listen,
Did
items.
you state
agenda
your
items
address?
Number 1. Yeah, Ocho Tres, Cinco Seis, Bascom Road,
Okay,
Jacksonville,
thank you.
Florida,
Thank you.
32216. Agenda items 1, number 2, 2025-0775, ethics is gone, pull the tape. Number 7, 2026-0074, save Rodman. We'll save Pottsburg Creek, 2025-0019, or waterways, legislative and executive find action for Congressman Bean, State Representative Dean Black, Governor DeSantis. Council President Carrico, Waterways Member Peluso, and co-sponsor Boylan support Pottsburg Creek Public Park in District 4, CPAC 3, School Board District 3. And we go into the Environmental Protection Board meeting at 5 p.m., 2025-0522, 2024-0325. That's the University of Florida Septic Tank Study. Agenda item number 9, 2026-0137, Council Rules. Now, this is some guilt trip legislation stuff. You know, ethics is gone. You know, I went to an ethics commission meeting and I asked, we have 6 CPACs representing the entire city of Jacksonville. We've got the Mayor's Disability Council, the Council on Elder Affairs, the Senior Citizen Gang. Why is OGC, the Office of General Counsel, not represented at these meetings? So show up. Let's see, we've got number 10, 2026-0138. I'm just down about 50 seconds. Okay, this is PSG. Okay, True Commission. I mean, they're going after PSG grants. I mean, show up. Raymond Day. You know, the categories of the most vulnerable persons. Number 11, 2026-0139. Homelessness Initiative, Special Revenue Trust Fund, another trust fund with a $100,000 window, 2026-0004. That's the Parks Trust Fund. Always remember 2009 442, that's the Artificial Reef Trust Fund. That was that was super duper unbelievably successful. Down to 20 seconds. Number 15, 2026-0151. Some more PSG grants, evaluation and scoring and applications. We're amending a bunch of Section 118, grants administrator, grants awards, limitations. Is this legislation an emergency? It's in neighborhoods, rules, finance. And it's the target for the True Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Nooney.
All right, thank you for listening.
That ends our public comments. Just wanted to make note that Councilmember Johnson has joined us, and I believe these first 3 will go quickly if you look on your agenda. So I'm going to have these first 3 items so that Council Vice President Howland and Councilmember Johnson can go on with their day. I'm going to take these 3 up first and then move through all the appointments and then go back to the start of the regular agenda. So if you'll turn with me to page 9, item number 14, 2026-0156, excuse me, 0150. Okay. We have motion and second on the moving the neighborhoods amendment. Would you please explain the neighborhoods amendment, Ms. Carhar?
Yes, through the chair to the committee, the Neighborhoods Amendment will correct some Scrivener's errors within the bill and place a revised economic development agreement on file to change references from the economic development officer to the director of the neighborhoods department, who will be overseeing the agreement, correct some ordinance code section references, revise the legal description of the parcel, and correct some Scrivener's errors.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one in the queue, yes, we have a question. Past President Salem, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Why is this being supervised by neighborhoods versus economic development? Is there a reason for that?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, that's how the bill was drafted.
Is that typical through the chair?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, the last agreement, I believe, the Madison Palms agreement, is being overseen by the Office of Economic Development, but I believe based on the subject matter being affordable housing, it was determined that this falls more closely under the Neighborhoods Department's expertise.
Madison Palms was affordable housing. Not all of it. Is that the I'm just trying to understand the inconsistency here. If someone can, I didn't catch it in neighborhoods, frankly.
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, I'd have to defer to the administration.
Can someone come up and explain that to me? Because I would prefer it to be an economic development.
Through the chair, Joshua Hicks, Affordable Housing Administrator in the Neighborhoods Department. The developer reached out to myself, Travis Jeffrey, to Councilman Salem. The developer reached out to myself, Travis Jeffrey, Chief of Housing, about ways to, produce this legislation. It was not a Rev Grant centrist. Normally, Rev Grants are associated with the Office of Economic Development. So because this was a loan and it dealt with all of affordable housing, all units are 60% AMI or below, it made sense to route it through our administration. This also went in front of MBRC, the Mayor's Budget Review Commission, got approval there, working with Vice President Nick Howland to co-introduce this legislation and move it in front of this council. So that's why it was brought through the Neighborhoods Department.
Through the chair to Councilmember Vice President Howland, are you okay with this? And if you are, it's fine with me.
I'm fine with neighborhoods, but if you want to amend it to economic development, unless the administration objected, I'd be fine with that too. As presented, I think it was written fine, but if you have a heartache with it, it doesn't stop my support.
Let's go over Mr. Delaney, please.
Thank you. Through the chair to the body, we would prefer it to be in neighborhoods per the amendment based on the developments that Mr. Hicks just explained. But, either way, if there's a strong preference by the council, we'll get the work done no matter who's doing it.
All right, thank you.
I'll make an amendment that it be supervised by economic development. I'm more comfortable with that group. But I don't want to stop the legislation in any way, shape, or form. If we can't do that here and continue moving the legislation, I won't make the amendment.
Michelle, please.
No, through the chair or to the chair, procedurally you can handle this one of two ways. You could take up the Neighborhoods Amendment, vote on that, and then entertain Councilmember Salem's amendment as a separate one and roll those up. That might be cleaner that way, but it's up to your discretion.
Okay, well, let's go back to the amendment we had on the table, and I don't see anyone on the queue on that one. Then we'll come back to past President Salem on his amendment. Okay, yeah, still no one in the queue. So we're going to vote on the Neighborhoods Amendment. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes. Those opposed, no. The amendment passes. We have a motion second on the bill as amended. We'll now go to past President Salem for his proposed amendment.
Pardon me. I'm looking at the Vestcorp people back there. Do y'all have an issue with this? Mr. DiBenal? I'll make an amendment that this agreement be supervised by the Department of Economic Development. There's a second.
We have a motion second that this legislation, if passes, is supervised by the Office of Economic Development versus Neighborhoods. We have Councilmember Amaro in the queue. You recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the record and for clarification, why can someone explain what would be the benefit of one over the other, whether it's neighborhoods or EOD, economic development? Is there someone who can explain that? What's the benefit of going with one? I know so far no one objects to either one, but I'm just curious as to what's the benefit between the two.
Yes, Mr. Delaney, please.
Thank you. Through the chair to Councilmember Amaro, if I could get Mr. Hicks to come back up, explain why we ended up going that route, to hopefully clarify why that was our preference.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair to Councilman Amaro. The Housing Division, quite frankly, has a history of monitoring these contracts. We have a revolving loan fund where we enter into a 20-year, LoRa with some of these developers all the time routinely, and it's our responsibility to monitor those contracts on a yearly basis to make sure the property is being kept up with, making sure the rents are staying affordable, making sure that they're living to the letter of the law of the LoRa that they have on these properties. So the Housing Division should be responsible for anything housing related. This is an affordable housing project. We have an affordable housing silo now in the Housing and Community Development Division, and we have employees within our division that are experienced in monitoring these types of projects to ensure that over the period of time, they're following the contract and they're following the LoRa that's on the property. Keep in mind, this property is going to have a 20-year LoRa on it, guaranteeing affordability for the community for 20 years on these 240 units. Office of Economic Development, again, they tend to deal with mainly rev grants and overseeing the actual contract of it, but they don't actually monitor the housing units. That's what our division and our department does.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it'd be good to follow up, if he's willing, from Economic Development Office. So we've heard all sides on this, and then we can move forward.
Good afternoon, Ed Randolph with the Office of Economic Development. Through the chair to the body, I think as Josh has explained, really their expertise and their day-to-day management and oversight of affordable housing units and payments and the like really just lended, this project to be more in their bailiwick and in their shop. I know Medicine Palms was mentioned, that project, of which we did end up, and we still are providing oversight for that. But we figured moving forward with all the, hopefully, the more affordable housing projects coming online, they're better equipped and have more expertise in that arena to handle that particular project.
Okay, thank you. We'll go next to Past President Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and then through the chair to Mr. Randolph or to Mr. Hicks. We're referencing past developments that have been done, affordable housing. Are you saying that those are grandfathered in and that the neighborhoods department, your division, is not monitoring those, but moving forward, we're starting to try to monitor these, or you're still in charge of the other ones in the past and they're trying to go forward with this one and others to come?
Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, I think both. Basically, yeah, we were handling Madison Palms. Now we've got Josh on board. There is a more concerted effort and focus on affordable housing, considering the concern and the need for that. So, and again, their expertise and their ability to oversee the payments, and they have the expertise in their department for specific payment methodologies and things related to affordable housing. They're more equipped to do it. Again, as Josh mentioned,
and thank you for that.
We don't really deal with housing on a day-to-day basis.
I understand that. And initially, I don't think I was going to support the amendment. I'm going to support it now. There's something in my gut that's not feeling right about, I keep hearing they have the expertise. They have the expertise, but we're one city. So I like collaboration. I like working together. I would think that it's the same administration that if you're lacking in one area, then they should be able to help send that resource over. So that in and of itself has created a little bit of concern on my end when I hear that. And again, I'm going to ask, I would like to know how many, I'm all in on affordable housing. I think 600 units came in back in the day. How many currently are you still managing? And then, and if so, why then this one now?
Sure. Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, I believe Madison Palms, and then there's the one in Springfield that was done by Corner Lot. I'm blanking on the name at the moment. But there are two projects of which we work in tandem with the Housing Division to oversee those projects. So we both have responsibility for those two other projects I just mentioned, Madison Palms.
That's good.
But again,
that's good.
CDBG and HUD, and they that's their area of expertise. So they have the federal and state related responsibilities there. So that's why there's
yes, sir. And not trying to have a gotcha. I'm going to support the amendment moving forward. I just wanted to kind of hear where we're at. The co-introducer here says he's fine either way. I think I've heard both sides say they're fine either way. So I'm going to, if this is an issue with the past president, I'm going to support him and support the amendment. Thank you.
Past President Salem.
I didn't mean to open up a hornet's nest here. I just have a whole lot more confidence in Ed Randolph than I do the Neighborhoods Department. It's as simple as that. If he wants to get support from them, but I know if something goes wrong, I'm looking at Ed Randolph. That's what I want. Thank you.
Next is Vice President Howland, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My only question for Mr. Randolph is, when I think of Ed Randolph, I want him out trying to attract aerospace companies to Cecil Field. So will this take away, and I doubt it, from you and your team's capacity to continue the fight to bring jobs to Jackson?
Through the chair to Councilman Howland, the short answer is no. Again, it's just more of a conservative effort moving forward with affordable housing be more of a focal point to kind of have neighborhoods oversee most of those contracts in their entirety. But with that, we'll happily oversee whatever elements we need to see as it relates to the management of the project and the payments.
Thank you.
Past President White, please.
Yes, sir. Through the chair to Dr. Salem, hearing both sides and understanding your concerns, would you have any appetite of changing your amendment for them to work together like they are on some other things? In tandem, yes, I think, is the word they use.
Go ahead.
I'm fine with that. Through the chair, all I'm saying is I want the name at the top to be Ed Randolph. That's the guy that I have confidence in to make sure this works correctly. If he needs to solicit other support, that's fine with me. But ultimately, if this project goes well, it's because of Ed Randolph at the top.
Thank you.
Mr. Delaney, please.
Thank you. Through the chair to the body, I do want to clarify that this absolutely will be a group effort. We are one administration. We'll be handling it as one administration regardless of what name is at the top. The goal here is to increase some efficiency, especially as we move into hopefully many more affordable housing developments in the future. We are in the middle of a housing crisis, so I would expect to see more of this nature. I think that in the future, more bills will be forthcoming with the Neighborhoods Department, as that is who is primarily handling it. When they need support from another unit, they can get it. You know, where economic development needs support on something that another unit touches, they'll be able to get it. All we're trying to do here is increase the efficiency with which we can get these things out there and on the street.
Okay, one more person here visiting, Councilmember Peluso.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Ed, do you mind coming back up here? Just want to kind of have a minor conversation with you. So you and I have talked a lot about economic development and even some housing stuff in the past, have we not?
Through the chair to Councilman Peluso, that's correct.
And almost every time I try to bring you housing projects, what do you usually say to me?
Through the chair to Councilman Peluso, traditionally 99% of our project list includes non-housing projects, but again, we've done them. But for the most part, our main focus is dealing with aviation-related companies, manufacturers of different widgets and
FTEs,
like.
jobs,
yeah,
economic development. Yeah. And so my concern, through the chair, is actually through the chair to Councilmember Salem. With this amendment, is this now are we creating a new policy that every housing project now must go through economic development? Is that going to be the intent moving forward? Because you feel better about economic development than you do housing or neighborhoods?
I will take each project on its own, but I would have made this amendment in neighborhoods if I would have heard it. I missed it. Is the reason I'm bringing it up here now. So I can't answer your question. It would depend upon the project.
To the committee and to my colleagues, I just feel like this is a fascinating precedent. We have an entire department based on neighborhoods, and then we have a director of housing. Economic development has a massive scope, and I don't want to burden Ed with more crap. And I've tried to burden Ed with more crap. And he keeps trying to say, I only have limited resources. I need to focus on getting billion-dollar corporations to come to Jacksonville. I have to do this. I have to do that. I genuinely don't understand why we're trying to add more stuff on the plate of someone who probably doesn't have enough staff, doesn't have enough budget, and now we're adding housing on top of it. It just seems odd to me. I don't think this is the right step. I think we should not support this amendment. I think we should keep it in the office that the sponsor and the mayor's office worked on, which should be housing and the neighborhoods department.
All right, last person here is Mr. Delaney, and we're going to take a vote on the amendment.
Thank you to the chair and the body. I just want to reiterate, again, we're going to be seeing more of these things. We hope this is our plan going forward, that from the jump we're going to be putting more things in neighborhoods. The name at the top, to my mind, matters a lot less than the work getting done. I would hope that we could defer to the subject matter experts, that you've heard from people in both shops about what the vision is going forward, what each side is going to be focusing on. We have a housing area that's going to be dealing with housing. We have economic development that's going to be dealing with economic development. They'll be able to, meet each other where necessary. Now, I can understand if, there's individuals that certain council members are more comfortable with, but I don't think that should dictate the way that bills are written. And I hope that in the future we're not going to have this be a precedent, that in the future we're going to let the subject matter experts of the subjects be in charge of said subjects. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take a hand vote because I anticipate some votes on both sides of this instead of counting the yeas and nays. So all those in favor of the past President Salem amendment to change to economic development versus neighborhoods for oversight going forward, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. Did you get the count? Okay, the amendment passes. Roll those together, please. We have a motion and second on the bill as amended. That's what we're talking about, is this bill. Yes. I'm sorry. Is there something? Okay. Vice President Howland, you're recognized.
Yeah, I'll gladly go first since I'm an introducer, but if there was others on there. Okay, great. I just wanted to say, despite that conversation, who it resides with, this is a fantastic bill for many reasons. One, we have a critical housing shortage in Jacksonville, the same as we do across the state, same as we do across the country. Another fantastic reason is this is not a completion grant. This is a $5 million loan. We will get our money back. Yes, it's a low-interest loan, but the 20-year period that it is redeemable at the end guarantees the affordable housing. Also, this is 240 units where 100% of those, all those units, will be restricted to at or below 60% of AMI. And lastly, it's a great opportunity because of the location. I drove it earlier today on the way in. I pass it all the time, but it's a perfect location for affordable housing. It really is. It's I mentioned it this morning. In neighborhoods, it has to the east I mentioned it this morning in neighborhoods. I forget which committee I'm in. It has to the east all commercial, to the south it has some residential, and to the southwest residential, to the west commercial, and to the north Beach Boulevard and right across all commercial. So great location for affordable housing, given the hospitals to the east, downtown to the west, UNF to the south. The closest corollary, I mentioned it this morning, Councilman Salem just mentioned it, is Madison Palms, and we all know that there were some traffic concerns in that one, but they did a great job with that, and it's the same developer. It looks really nice, lots of amenities for the residents, and satisfies an affordable housing critical need. This will too. So thanks to the administration and to VestCorp for putting this together. I think it's going to be a home run for our city. Thanks.
Councilmember Amaro, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to piggyback on what Vice President Howland just said. As a co-sponsor, I support the objective of this legislation to meet the critical needs of affordable housing in our community. The developer has demonstrated, in my eyes, a good track record of fulfilling commitments and getting things done with some of the properties that I've seen, so I have no questions about the developer's commitment to fulfilling this obligation. As for what we just went through with the amendment, if I heard the voices correctly, even if you put my name at the top, that the work will be monitored by the proper department that needs to be monitoring. So I don't know what that amendment really accomplished, but nevertheless, I'm supporting the legislation.
Mr. Delaney, please.
Thank you. If I may, our Deputy Chief of Staff is here. If I could call him up to make a comment.
Through the chair to the body, just wanted to reconfirm Councilman Amaro's statement. Seems to be an amendment that to no real effect, seeing as how it is one administration that does the job for the people. I appreciate the support of Councilman Howland in getting the legislation filed, working with the developer to deliver on behalf of the people.
Thank you. We'll now go to Past President Freeman, please.
I just simply want to be added through the chair. I just would like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you. And to Past President Salem, please.
I'm just amazed how words get twisted in this room. The question Councilmember White asked me is, would it be appropriate for Ed to seek assistance if he needed it? And I have no problem with that. But that's not. He's at the top. He's responsible for this bill and making sure it's done correctly. If he needs assistance with that, that's great. But ultimately, the success or failure of this bill and this development is Ed Randolph. Let me make that, as far as I'm concerned, it's perfectly clear. The administration can say whatever they want to say. But that's what's in the bill. Economic development is monitoring this development. So let's be very clear here, and please add me as a co-sponsor as well. Thank you.
Okay, if we could open the ballot and record your votes, please.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2026-0150 as amended. Okay, so much for, I think it's going to be quick, but, I learned a lot through that process there. We'll now go next to page number 10, item number 15, 2026-0151. We have a motion and second on the amendment. Ms. Carter, please explain the amendment.
Yes, through the chair to the committee. The amendment will include the Eastside Community Grants Program within the code section that limits grant funding. This is just to specify that agencies will not be eligible to receive both the public service grant and the Eastside Community Grant for the same program. We'll clarify what information needs to be included in the application for new versus existing programs, correct some terminology within the bill, correct a code section reference, and lastly, correct some Scrivener's errors.
Thank you. We'll go to Councilmember Boylan, please. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you are looking to take up a different bill, the First Coast Crime Stoppers, with Council Vice President Howland, but be that as it may, if we're taking up 151, which is my bill, we're good.
Oh, I apologize for that. That's I went with the sheet instead of looking at the bill. I apologize, but yes, since we're there, let's do it. I'm sorry.
I'm good.
Okay, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. We have motion second on the bill as amended. We have Past President Freeman in the queue. You recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and definitely watched all of Neighborhoods this morning, and I believe your line of questioning, which I was tracking with regarding the votes, with one vote, I think they said they cast something out if it's over 20 or whatever, but you mentioned 5, and then the auditors came back and said that our current policy is 3, and so I would ask you, is 5 the number that you feel most comfortable with, or are you okay with 3? Because it sounded as if when I was listening to your discussion this morning that you thought it was 5, and in reality it's 3. And if so, I'll make the motion or make an offer an amendment to change the language to make that reviewing committee 5 members as opposed to 3.
Well, I think it's written as 5, but I think the understanding is they can go down to 3.
Oh, no, sorry. Through the chair, it is 3. You were mentioning 5, and they can go up to 5. They can go up to 7. They can grow as much as they want. But the minimum is 3. I personally think 5 is a better minimum number to have, based off of the discussion that I heard you make today and how it can skew the numbers a little
I
bit.
appreciate that. And my only question, and I'll go over to Councilmember Boylan on this. From what I received back when it was being discussed, it seems like their plan is for 5 this year. So that seems attainable, achievable, not stretching them too far. So just want to see what your thoughts are, Councilmember Boylan.
Ms. Figueroa, come on up. We had one circumstance last year, which was one out of many, in which we had exorbitant, out of range votes. I think the goal is always to do 5, but circumstances sometimes preclude the availability to do that. But the concern you were raising this morning with respect to an outlier in terms of vote, those are discounted if they're significantly out of line by as many as, my memory serves me correctly, Maribel, it's 20 points. So your example this morning was there's 274s or 275s, and one does a 95. That 95 doesn't count. It doesn't skew the score because of the disparity in the range. But Ms. Maribel, could you speak? And I know that other efforts are being made to make certain that there will have 5 members on each grant review.
Yes, Maribel Figueroa, Grants and Contract Compliance Division, here with Vice Chair Daniel Henry, who is Vice Chair of the Public Service Grant Council. So the minimum number is 3. I would recommend that remain at 3. Year before last, we had multiple vacancies on the PSG Council. We currently have 15 if we were full. There is 1 vacancy now, but if we were full, we were at 15. Ideally, that means 5 scoring per. The current grant cycle, we were very fortunate that we had a full PSG council at the time and were able to have 5 score at each. However, if we have vacancies, that means that there will be PSG council members that will have to score more than 1 category, and that will take a tremendous toll on their time. And as it relates to the outlier that Councilman Boylan mentioned, and Mr. Chair, that you mentioned earlier, I did go back and look at the actual ones. That was one particular instance since I've been here where there were 5 scorers who scored 47, 47, 85, 97, and 92, 92 and 97. So because of the ordinance that says 20 points over or 20 points less would have to be eliminated, the average score came out to 74. What that means is that the 247s and the 97 were removed from that. And so to your point, there were only 2 that counted. However, that only happened this one instance. And Interestingly enough, the two PSG council members that scored them 47, the lowest, were two of the most experienced PSG council members. So that is truly an outlier in terms of a one-time situation that I have not seen. So I don't believe that it's necessary to change an ordinance because something happens one time.
Okay, thank you. We'll go back to Past President Freeman.
Thank you. I still had a few questions, and thank you to the chair for Councilmember Boylan's adding. And so you said that we're at 14 or 15 is the full council. You said you currently have 5, and you fear reducing from 5 because if the council is not full, 3 is easier to fill. My question through the chair to you, Ms. Maribel, is why then not just have 3? If you're choosing to have 5, and you're saying the only reason that 5 is a challenge sometimes is because of numbers, where we have numbers now, and we can continue to work to have them. I think 5 is better than 3, honestly. But why then choose to only have 5, and then keep the number 3?
The number of 3, which is the minimum, we can have more than that. 3 is the minimum. For the ordinance, that is the right number, because in a situation where we don't have all the seats filled and it were 5, that would be a challenge, because then that means existing PSG council members will have to score more than one category. They would prefer to just score one category. So ideally, in practice, we would like to have a full 15-member PSG council, 5, 5, 5, and have more people scoring in each category. However, the number 3 as being the minimum is realistic because it allows us to have the flexibility should there be vacancies. Through the chair, Councilman Freeman, does that answer your question?
Yes, I mean, I still would prefer a larger amount, but I understand what you're saying, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of trust, but verify later. So I'm definitely going to I'm definitely going to pull back. I really thought that the chair, when he was going somewhere this morning, was in a lane that I was in. I am concerned with 3, especially when we have a full council, and when this council, obviously we're elected and these are volunteers, so it's not apples to apples. But our conversation somewhat rivals when we're talking about members showing up, and your members have a 70% requirement, I believe, as well, to be there, and they're going to be there. And I think I've served in this capacity before. I would like to see more people, but if you wanted to stay at 3, we've been working hard on some things, and I'll talk later on that later. I'll leave it alone if my colleagues are fine with it as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good discussion, though. I really do appreciate it. And as I said this morning, thank you all for your willingness to make adjustments to improve the process, the system, and working with Councilmember Boylan and others and meeting with me. I really appreciate it. As far as posture goes, Michelle, we're ready for a vote?
To the chair, yes, it's been moved as amended.
Okay. Seeing no one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0151 as amended, and it's not on your agenda, but we are going next to page 12, item number 19. We will take up 2026-0155, the First Coast Crime Stoppers. We have a motion and second on the bill. Only person in the queue is Vice President Howland. Do you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one is procedural. Local counties can apply for funds out of the Florida Crime Stoppers Trust Fund, but to do so, 3 criteria must be met. The entity that can, there can only be one entity for every county that applies. The entity must be part of the Florida Association of Crime Stoppers, and the entity must be the designated agent of the county. So the only one who qualifies here for us is First Coast Crime Stoppers, who do a great job anyways. And this resolution basically designates them as the agent for Duval County so they can apply for those funds. Thanks.
Thank you very much. No one else in queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0155.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We'll next go to page number 15, item number 30, 2026-0197. We have a motion second on the bill. Seeing no one else in the queue, Councilmember Johnson is on the queue. Please, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks, everyone. This bill is simply to honor the women in Jacksonville. It's Women's History Month, and I believe this council needed to honor it, and I wanted to make sure it was done. There is an amendment I'd like to make, and I hope that one of the committee members would sponsor it. If you notice in the legislation, my change is on page 2, line number 10, in the whereas clause. I would love to, something that I have to charge it to myself. I sit in her office. Joyce Morgan was not mentioned in this, and she is an elected first woman to be elected as property appraiser. And so my recommendation is that I would like to recommend that someone from the committee move for the whereas clause to include 2 women, which are both Tommy Bell and Joyce Morgan. Tommy Bell was the first woman elected to be the supervisor of elections. Of course, she passed away in 2018, I believe, at age 91, but a dear friend and a wonderful woman. And it would read, whereas the continued advancement of women in leadership achieved several historic milestones, with Tommy Bell being the first woman to be elected supervisor of elections, Joyce Morgan, the first woman elected property appraiser, and Donna Deegan, the first woman elected mayor of the city of Jacksonville, reflecting the progress made possible by generations of women who opened doors in public life and public service. And I did send the language of that over to the general counsel's office, if someone would sponsor that.
We have a motion on that amendment. Do we have a second? We have a second. Okay, we have Councilmember Amaro. Are you still wanting to speak? No. Anyone on the amendment, the proposed amendment?
Mr. Chair, very quickly, I knew Tommy Bell, fine lady. Obviously, I know Joyce Morgan even before she became the property appraiser, and as well as the mayor I've known as well. And so I don't have a problem supporting the amendment, recognizing these 3 women for their contributions to our city, and has nothing to do with politics, but rather principles.
Thank you. Past President Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Father of 4 daughters here, so always in favor of lifting up women and leaders. My question, and this is always my biggest concern when we start to name individuals, is are we forgetting anyone? I know you do the research, and I understand that, but are there any females that through the history of Jacksonville that were first and we are failing to miss them?
Thank you. Of course, so the rubric that at least I use, and I'm so thankful to, through the chair to past President Freeman, the rubric that I use, and I'm so thankful to the research department, Ms. Hampsey and her team, and the work they helped me to do the research on this to ensure I missed out when I looked at it, and the OGC caught it as well, that we missed Joyce. What I did, though, is looked at the reason I named the members of the council. If you'll look in the resolution, the women that were elected council president were included in a clause, and then the women that were first that were elected to different positions were also included in another clause. From my understanding, I believe that we have all of them, and you're right, I don't want to name names, but it's a way for us to connect that posterity. When I'm writing, usually I try to come from a historic perspective, and like Ken said, and I'm sure, like Ken and as well as Randy, Tommy Bell was someone a lot of people knew, but at 91, a lot of people didn't know her, and her name is almost forgotten to history. So this is another way for us to connect what's going on now to what happened then. And so that's why I wanted to add those names, because it brings heft to me to the legislation. But Colleen, through the chair to Mr. Freeman, Colleen and research may be able to give some more insight, but I believe we got them all.
Thank you. Anything else, Past President Freeman? Ms. Hampsey, please.
So through the chair to the body, I think we have them all. The intent was with the sponsor, so we got all the ones that I think we were supposed to get.
Thank you. Okay, no one else. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. The motion and second on the bill is amended. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0197 as amended. Okay, thank you. Thank you both very much, Vice President Howland and Councilmember Johnson. We'll now go to page 3. And we're going to item number 5. We'll start with the appointments and reappointments, 2026-0049. We have motion and second on the bill. Miss, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Tatiana Yoguez. Is she here? Last name spelled Yoguez. First name Tatiana. Yes, Mr. Delaney.
Thank you to the chair. I suggest that one of the members moves to withdraw this, as she's not shown up. This is the third time. We apologize for that.
Okay, we have motion and second on a withdrawal. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote. Did that give you enough time? My apologies, I did that so quickly. That's all on me. Thank you very much.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've withdrawn 2026-0049. Thank you, Mr. Delaney. We'll now go next to page 4, item number 6, 2026-0051. We have motion and second on the bill. Is Ms. Tanisha Hammett here, please? If you'll come forward, please. If you'll state your name and address for the record, please, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and why this reappointment is appropriate. It's a good fit for you, if you would, please.
Hello, yes, my name is Tanisha Hammett. My address is 2659 Glory Trail, Jacksonville. This council is very important to me because when I was going through what I was going through, I did not know that I was a victim. And being on this council, I have met so many incredible people, so many women from all walks of life that have shared their story of empowerment for making it through the things that they've went through and being of service to the community and making a difference. This council means a lot to me, and to be able to sit on this council and make recommendations and be able to do research on how we can better help serve our community of survivors has truly made a difference in my life. In my everyday life, I am the mother to my 7-year-old son. He has special needs, and so we have a lot of therapies throughout the week. So I do apologize for my absence. At some meetings, I was not able to attend because of that. Also, I have a full-time job where I work for a Deluxe Corporation. I am a sales analyst, so most of my days is spent digging in a lot of data and helping companies find the people that they're looking for. So at heart, I love researching. I love making a difference. I love figuring things out, and I love being of service. And so that's why being on this council is very important to me.
Thank you. I don't see anyone else in the queue, but I do want to ask, obviously this is something very important to you, and I applaud that and thank you for wanting to be reappointed to this board. The only question I have is, given what you just mentioned about how busy you are, do you feel comfortable that you're able to attend the meetings that you'll be responsible to attend? I believe from what we've listed here, you attended 8 of 11 or 73% of your meetings your first term. How do you think that looks going forward with you being able to attend these meetings and represent?
I think I will be able to attend the meetings. I just will have things that come up with the line of work that I do where it's more so client facing. And so sometimes I get caught up in meetings to where I'm not able to step away. But I do feel that going forward, I will be able to attend the meetings accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much. We have Councilmember Amaro in the queue. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just very quickly, I want to say thank you for stepping up and giving back. You said something that caught my ear, that you did not realize you were a victim until you realized that you were. And what that says to me is that there are perhaps many who are in that path, and your service, your role, your capacity will be able to not only help identify, but help them walk through perhaps one of the most difficult times of their lives. So thank you for stepping up.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Seeing no one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0051. And I must say, thank you, Councilmember Amaro. Well stated, and I echo those same sentiments. Thank you for continuing to step up and help others go through this difficult road. And I just wanted to mention, next council meeting, even though it's a reappointment, but we'll be recognizing all those who are appointed or reappointed at the next city council meeting next Tuesday night. It's not required that you be there, but if you are, we'll ask you to stand up so that people can recognize you for your voluntary service. So thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to share a copy of our research that we did. I don't know if you seen this report, but I just wanted to share a copy of it. Okay,
thank you very much. All right, next, also on page 4, we'll go to item number 8, 2026-0108. We have a motion and second on the bill. Is Dr. Darren Brownlee here, please? Yes, sir. If you would please come forward and state your name and address for the record, and the same thing, just give us a little bit about your background that fits with this position.
Yes, absolutely, and thank you. Through the chair and through the body, my name is Dr. Darren Brownlee, address 11307 Barrier Beach Place, Jacksonville, Florida, 32256. I'm here to hopefully confirm the appointment to the CSGP, that's the Cultural Service Grant Program Committee. I've served on the board for the Cultural Council of Greater Jacksonville for almost 2 years now, seeing the impact that the Grants Committee certainly does, be a part of that on the logistics side through governance, true service, the distribution of funds, and certainly through the partnerships of conversations and other leaders on that committee. I would certainly want to do my best to serve and allocate these funds appropriately.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, no one in the queue. Please open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By our action, you've approved 2026-0108. And Dr. Brownlee, if you're available next Tuesday night, we'll recognize you as well. And thank you very much for stepping forward. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you all.
Okay, we'll go to page 11, item number 16. And that is 2026-0152. We have a motion second on amendment. Would you explain the amendment, Ms. Gallagher, please?
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment will just correct the language in the bill to reflect that this is a reappointment instead of an appointment. And I also just note for the record, we have the same amendment on the following 2 bills, 2026-153 and 2026-154.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. We have a motion second on the bill as amended. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0152 as amended. And next, we'll go to item number 17, 2026-0153. We have a motion second on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. We have motion and second on the bill as amended. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0153 as amended. Next, we'll go to page 12, item number 18, 2026-0154. We have motion and second on the amendment. No one in the queue. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. We have a motion and second on the bill as amended. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0154 as amended. We'll go to page 13, item number 20, 2026-0156. We have a motion and second on the bill. Pastor Pringle, would you please come forward and state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about yourself as it pertains to this reappointment on the Supervisor of Elections.
Hi, Ray Pringle, 11541 Old Kings Road. Pardon? Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. It's good to be here this morning. Yes, the reappointment, right now I'm the sitting chair of the Election Advisory Panel, and I think it's a very important position to take because our elections are something that's very vital. I think that everybody is very important. It's important that we have our elections that people don't have questions about, and that's something that we take up with in our election panel. That if there's questions, people can come and make sure that and be assured that their vote has been counted and that our elections are run fairly. And so I take it very seriously when we do have our meetings with that we make sure that people are comfortable with their votes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll go first to Councilmember Gay, please. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Pringle, thank you for your service and all that you do, and I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. And next to Councilmember Amaro, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Can I call you Ray?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You sure can.
Ray, thanks for stepping up. You've given back to this community over the years in so many ways, so thank you for doing this. There's something here about 45% attendance record. As a chair, how do you see your attendance being impacted? And I love where you are, to be honest. I'm one of those who hold dear to his heart that privilege of voting. And so I understand where you are. But I see here noted that 45% attendance record. How do you change that?
There's been some problems with the EAP when one of the Mr. Holland's people that handled that, when he retired, I got no notifications anymore. I kept emailing, asking when the meetings were, and I got no response. And finally, I got to speak with Mr. Holland and found out when the meetings were going to be again. And a couple of the times that went to the meetings, I was sick and in the hospital, and I didn't make it then. But and there is problems that I have once in a while. Being in a wheelchair is exciting, to say the least. And so, but I take it seriously being involved. And elected as the chair, I'm not sure that how that I got to be, I didn't even know I was that tardy. No one had explained that to me. But when I know that there's meetings, I attend. And so I have no response other than I didn't get the notifications when things happened within their department.
Thank you, sir. I'm satisfied with your response. I have no doubt, no question about your heart and your conviction. I had to ask the question because it's recorded of record to your attendance. And now that you've been made aware, I'm pretty sure there'll be a diligent effort, in spite of whatever challenges you may face, to make sure that you're there when you're supposed to be there. So thank you.
Thank you. Next to Past President White.
Through the chair and to the chair, please have me as a co-sponsor, please.
Thank you. And next to Past President Salem, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your service, and please add me as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Past President Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please add me as a co-sponsor.
And I might as well round this out. Please add me as a co-sponsor, and thank you, Pastor, for stepping up. And we have one more. Councilmember Boylan wants to be added as a co-sponsor as well. So I think we have a pretty full slate here. No one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0156, and I hope you don't get caught in the rain again.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll next go to item number 21, 2026-0157. We have a motion on second on the bill. Is Mr. Williams here? Mr. Williams, Edward Williams. If you please state your name and address for the record, please. And tell us a little bit about yourself as well as far as this appointment goes and how it's a good fit for you for the Duval County Election Advisory Panel.
My name's Ed Williams, and I live on 7915 Plummer Road. I grew up over on the west side and went to Forest High School and pretty much been a resident most of my life here.
And Mr. Williams, why do you think this is a good fit for you being on this Duval County Election Advisory Panel?
I became actually interested in the elections process a number of years ago, and I thought the best way to learn more about it is not only read up on the statutes that cover the elections process, but also to work as a poll worker. And so I did that. The more I learned, the more I realized that the elections process that we have in this country is foundational to the government that we enjoy. And I just see it as a very, very important part of what we really hold dear in this country.
Well, thank you. We have Councilmember Gay in the queue, please. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Williams, I appreciate you stepping up for this service, and I fully understand and know you are highly qualified for this position, and your passion for fair elections and is well valid, and please add me as a co-sponsor on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in the queue, I'd like to be added as co-sponsor too, and I also thank you for stepping forward to help us out. All right, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0157, and you heard what we said about next Tuesday night. We'll be recognizing all those who have been voted through and will be voted on finally by the full council. So we'll recognize you as well as the others on Tuesday night if you're able to make it. But if not, that's okay as well. Just wanted you to be aware. So thank you for volunteering to step up and serve.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll next go to page 16, item number 33, and that is 2026-0200. We have a motion and second on the emergency. Ms. Carroll, would you please explain the emergency?
Yes, through the chair to the committee. The nature of the emergency is the desire for this board to be fully seated in order to commence their work in a timely manner, which includes development of an annual budget submitted prior to the April 1st deadline. And Mr. Chair, I'll just mention that this is the same emergency language that's repeated for 2026-201 and 2026-206.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Delaney, please.
Thank you to the chair. I've gotten word that Mr. Mashney will not be able to be here. He is a barman by trade and worked TPC, and was a little exhausted over the events of the weekend.
Which one is that? Which person? The last one?
206, yeah.
Okay, not won't be here, so that's a deferral.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for.
Sorry, I was on the wrong one.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see, we haven't moved the emergency yet, have we? Moving second, we need to vote on it. All those in favor of the emergency, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The emergency passes. We have a motion second on the bill as an emergency. Is Mr. Walton here? Mr. Walton, yeah, if you'll please come forward and state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you think you're a good fit for this new board in 5 points.
Sure. My name's Alonzo Walton. My address is 1819 Challen Avenue, Jacksonville. The 5 points bid is something I'm very interested in. I'm a native of Jacksonville. I've been going to 5 points all my life. I own the building at the corner of Park and Post. It's better known as the Hawkers Building. It's sort of the entrance to 5 points. And I've been a part of the process for the past few years with this bid and with Councilman Peluso letting us know about it. I have a business background, and I think I can be helpful in the dollars and cents of this process. So that's my background.
That sounds good. Thank you very much. Seeing no one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0200 as an emergency. Thank you very much. We'll now go to item number 34, 2026-0201. We have a motion second on the emergency. All those in favor of the emergency, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The emergency passes. We have a motion on and a second on the bill as an emergency. Mr. Wingard, are you here? If you would please come forward and same thing, if you would state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about your background and why you believe this is a good fit for you on this new board in 5 points.
Thank you. My name's Jonathan David Wingard. My address is 2135 St. John's Avenue. I think I'm a good fit because I'm a business owner and a resident of 5 Points. I started my marketing agency in 2008 in the 5 Points Theater building. Was there for a few years, moved back in 2021. I have office space in the top floor and a lot of employees that work for me come into 5 Points every day. It's my goal to help it become a more safe place for my employees and a more vibrant economic center for Jacksonville. I grew up here and always wanted to, be a part of that eclectic neighborhood, and have worked with Lon and the Five Points Association for a few years now, kind of building momentum, and I think we're set for some great things.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that. Seeing no one else queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0201 as an emergency. Okay, we've already said on item, let's see, page 17, item 39, we're going to defer at the request of administration. So we'll now go to the start of the listed agenda, the revised agenda, and we'll start at item number 1. So item number 1, 2024-0627 is deferred at the request of Councilman Diamond. Item number 2, 2024-0966 is deferred at the request of Council President Carrico. Item 3, 2025-0775 is deferred at the request of Councilmember Carlucci. And for that one? Okay, Past President Freeman, you're in the queue, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it's really for the last 3 of them. And not that I am for or against any of them, but they've been on our agenda all year, and it says the same thing at the request of. Is there any way we can get an update on what the deferral, what we're waiting on, what information we're waiting to help maybe move this process forward? Or is this just something that's going to stay in perpetuity for the 24 months that they're allowed to be on the agenda before they fall off?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. I'll take that one for looking into, and we'll try to get answers at the next meeting. Yeah, we'll see. But I share your concern. Rather than let him just sit there, I would prefer action one way or the other. But thank you for that, and we'll follow up. Let's see. I was on number 3. Did I mention number 3? Okay, so item number 4, 2026-0005 is deferred due to noticing requirements. And we withdrew item 5. We've already taken up item 6. So that takes us to item number 7, 2026-0074. We have motion second on the withdraw at the request of Councilmember Peluso, I will add. So no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've withdrawn item 7, 2026-0074. We'll turn to page 5, item number 9, 2026-0137. We have a motion second on the bill. Anyone in the queue? You don't have to. Past President Freeman is in the queue. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and no, supportive of it, and watched the dialogue this morning. And again, I'm always hoping that some of my questions you all will ask, so we don't have to go through the process all over again. But I did hear something about taking walks in the description this morning, but I did not hear an amendment, and I did not find it in the legislation. So that was one question and concern that I had, because through the chair to OGC, 10 years ago, I often remember people saying that just because you weren't in the seat did not mean it was not a vote. It actually was a vote in the affirmative, is the understanding. Through the chair to OJC, was that just hearsay?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman and the committee. So the council rules require that if you're present, that you must vote unless you have submitted an absentee request. So traditionally, we have interpreted that to mean you're in your seat or within like arm's reach of your voting device. I'm not aware of any other past precedents for allowing walks or voting in the affirmative. In fact, the council rules address voting by proxy, and they prohibit that. Now, the council rules are subject to the interpretation of the council president, but I'm not aware of any time when he's interpreted it as allowing for voting of members who are not in their seat.
Understood. So then if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, if there are members in the green room and there is a tough vote taking place, the chair or the president, council president, can call for those members to come up and vote and take that vote, and then are they allowed to decline because they're with the constituent during a council meeting, or they have an emergency phone call, kids driving in rain and afraid of lightning or something?
Through the chair, so that would be at the discretion of the chair of the committee or the council president in the case of a full city council meeting, to call those from the green room back to vote. Obviously, you have like a quorum issue as well, right? We need a certain number of people sitting in order to take up business. But voting by proxy is prohibited under the council rules.
And thank you. We're never looking to vote by proxy per se. That was good old hearsay. So through the chair to Councilmember Boylan, is that something that, because it sounded like to me in the beginning of your speech that was a little bit of the spirit of the rule, and that is something that I too see where we could probably add some little tea to it when we're looking at this.
Yeah, what you talked about, the possibility of a proxy, what this actually eliminates that. You have to have 5 members in the seat to even take up a bill. So if there's only 4 at the table, they can't vote on it. And so they would have to either table it and wait for someone else to join them, or if we know for a fact there's only going to be 4 members present of the committee, hopefully the council president and or the vice president, his designee could, or her designee would come and make up the 5 necessary to do this. The whole intent of adding that was to make certain that council members were engaged in the discussion on every issue that's being taken up, as many as possible. And I think 5 is not an unreasonable expectation to say we're not going to take up a bill with, it's still only require 4 affirmative votes or negative votes in order for the bill to be determined. But the question of what the rule now, which I'm proposing, speaks to the fact that 5 people must be in the seat and therefore the conversation for a bill to be taken up.
Okay, thank you. That didn't scratch my itch, but I definitely understood where you're coming from. And I'm just talking like you look at LUZs, some of the toughest votes that you'll take. I personally would like to see something like that added per se. The 5 doesn't scratch my itch only because I understand now that the power that gives maybe folks that may not be in agreement with a certain bill. And all of a sudden you have those individuals not choosing, life happens and they're unable to make the meeting, and it puts it back a whole cycle if it's a bill that is quasi something controversial. But that's fine. I'll move to my next couple points because I definitely have some questions on the next bill coming up later. Liaisons. That was another one that I did not hear any reference to. Like, I'm a liaison to Journey Forward. I'm a liaison.
Yeah,
and
my singular focus, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I take that equally as important because we are the voice of the council. Absolutely. And we want to hear and I hear you standing up a lot for PSG, and I hear others doing it for the groups. I do it for KHA. I think that if we're really looking to kind of get the full wraparound, that liaisons should also be wrapped into this whole process, and they should be, we as elected officials should be held accountable for that as well, because that's a part about a council's president's charge. That's a part of our duty, is to be at those meetings.
And I encourage for you introducing such a bill.
So without stuff like that, I'm not going to be able to support maybe because I don't necessarily think it goes far enough. Special meetings, it says 3 meetings that are already on the books, that are already on it, but it's 3 consecutive and
yeah, that is an existing council rule. My bill doesn't speak to that. It's already there. All I was focusing on are the scheduled standing committee meetings and the full council meetings.
So
council rules presently stipulate that if you are on a special committee and you miss 3 meetings, it's at the discretion of the council president to remove you from that committee.
Right, and the missing word there was consecutive. The difference in the 2 is one says consecutive and one says meetings.
2 different, yes. And my bill doesn't speak to consecutive at all.
So that's fine. And then my last question was enforcement. What is the
2 enforcement points in this process?
Through the chair, I'm so sorry. Through the chair to Councilmember Boylan.
Councilman Freeman. There really wasn't a way we could displace people on the council themselves. So the answer to that question is someone he's had two excused absences at the city council meeting. If the third person who doesn't have an excused absence isn't there, their name is to be announced as part of the meeting that they are unexcused in that process. As far as the committee, if you miss 3, as you noted, that you will then be removed from that committee.
All right, thank you. And through the chair, one, it's not being enforced now. That's what I was asking, because I know I
this is enforceable. This makes this enforceable. Yes.
And I wasn't quite aware that they needed, if they had to miss 3. But through the chair to our auditors, not the auditors, through the chair to OGC, full-time versus part-time. Duval County is consolidated. I'm not quite sure when it was determined by our elected body that they would do part-time because they wanted to, I'm imagining they wanted to still maintain their work. When was that policy put in place, and is there any language or dialogue to the spirit of why?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman. So I have tried to research this in the hour before the meeting that we briefly talked about this. So what I did discover was in around 1983, our code was amended to adjust the salary to essentially like a part-time salary. It's a little more complicated than that, but and then in consultation with my office spoke with one of your colleagues, Councilmember Carlucci, to see if he could shed any light on the issue. And to his, he recalls it always being a part-time position. The reason being that they wanted people who were employed to serve as council members that could bring that were successful in business and could lend that expertise and acumen to the city council. But as far as he can recall, it's always been that way. And I can further research it for you if you like, but that's what I've been able to determine.
No, thank you, and that was my last question. So, I saw what the chair did in neighborhoods this morning when he said he would reserve the right to change his mind later. I would offer an amendment if I could for the walks part, but I don't know the language of how to add value to where the chair, it happened in LUZ one night where he just said, if you're here, come back. And we had 2 members come back in to take a very tough and difficult vote. And I appreciated them coming back in. So to me, I think that I would love to see, if this is something that's going to move forward, some type of language that gives the chair the opportunity that if someone's outside to say, I'm going to hold a vote to see if so-and-so is able to come back in. I like that better than saying adding 5.
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, I agree 100%. This was the only closest I could get to doing that without saying otherwise. So what it does say, so you're the chair of the committee, you've got 5 people there, one of them walks out. You basically have to suspend any action on anything until that person comes back. So you're holding their feet to the fire and say, we're not going to vote on this until you're back in your chair. So I think that's as close as you can come to that process.
All right, thank you. Through the chair to Councilmember Gay, you were the chair of neighborhoods, and at that time, you had a little consternation and reserved the right to change your mind later. Have you heard anything different in rules today that's going to change the way you think you're looking to vote now?
Through the chair, the councilman, honestly, no, because I just look at the numbers. If on a 7-member committee and we don't have 5 in the committee, then we're handicapped to move forward. And so that's, yes, the president can discharge, but we really don't get the full effect of what the committee would have voted. And so if you don't have, I guess, question that I would have, if you don't have 5 there, and you can't move the bill forward, you can't even discuss it. Am I correct to OGC on this?
Yeah, Michelle, please.
Through the chair, thank you. Through the chair to the body. So you cannot take action on any item without a quorum of members present.
Yeah. Next is past President Sam, please.
I'm sorry, I have to leave, but I've got to say this. I could not agree more with Councilmember Freeman in this walk stuff. I've never walked out of a vote in my 6.5. I've been asked to, which I found very offensive, but I never have. Now, I just missed a vote. We got to distinguish here. I went to the bathroom, missed a vote. It was on one of these appointments, but I felt very comfortable that if that occurred. But we have people that take walks on tough votes. I don't know how to fix that. But yeah, this moves the process forward, but I don't think resolves all the issues. I'm more than willing to hear something that takes care of that issue because you can watch it. It's very obvious for us that have been around a while who's taken a walk. I've got to leave. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I thought we'd be able to get through all these before you left, but thank you for that. And to that point, I will say before I go to the last person in the queue, intentionally, I assigned this to all of the standing committees. One, because I wanted to make sure everyone knew, here are the details of this. So we didn't miss any one of the 19 members, which we would have if we did assigned it in regular order. So I say that to say there are more opportunities. If you all think of ways to address that walking out matter more fully, or if there's some other amendment that you'd like to propose, you still have 3 more shots at that before it goes to full council. So I just wanted to point that out. Yes, next to Councilmember Boylan, please.
Number one, I really appreciate everyone's interest in this bill and understanding it. You understand, as I said before, if you read the whereases, it reaffirms what our responsibility is. And it should be done as a body, not as 4 or 5, preferably 7 in every situation. And I would love, and I gave serious thought to that, to the walks in this process. And the only solution I could come up that would be consistent is the 5. We could even make it 4, that you can't even take it up with 4, but I didn't want to go that far with it. I think you want to have a significant representation at the meeting and in a discussion on any bill at the committee level. This is really more important at the committee level than it is in the council, in my view. Although what's disturbing at our last couple of city council meetings, we had 14-0 votes. We had 14 votes on some issues. People who were in the green room, they weren't ducking, I don't believe they were, but still, the folks sitting out there expect us to be fully focused and in attendance to this process. To the comment of part-time, that's why I focus my energies strictly on standing committee and city council. Any given week of the 48 weeks that we are required, on average, we spend about 5 hours a week, either 2.5 hours in the committee meetings, 2 of those times, and of course the city council itself. So I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that city council members should be able to carve out that time. It doesn't preclude having excused absences. Of course, they're available to you. If you've got military duty or a health issue, either for yourself or for your family, those are considered excused as well as part of that process. If there's a better solution to make sure we can step away from those walks, I would offer it. But 5 to me seemed to be a reasonable one to say, we're not voting on anything unless there's 5 people sitting in the seat. And that's how I landed there. And if you want to change that to something else, that was the intent, to address that concern that I had and frustration that many of you have when people are not living up to their responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Go to Ms. Schell, please.
Through the chair, so Councilmember Freeman, you had brought up earlier the ways of being removed from your appointment on a standing committee or a select or special committee, and then talk of 3 consecutive versus not. And I just wanted to clarify so that you all understand what you're voting on. This bill does change that slightly. On page 3, line 10, this is Council Rule 2.202, which currently reads failure to attend 3 consecutive standing regular meetings of a standing committee or 3 meetings of a special or select committee, and causes you to be removed from essentially from your appointment there. And that is changed. The word consecutive is deleted from the standing committee. So a failure to attend 3 regular meetings of a standing committee or 3 consecutive meetings of a special or select committee without the approval of the chair during any council year shall constitute an automatic withdrawal from that committee. So it is changed slightly, and I just wanted you all to be aware of that so you know what you're voting on.
Thank you. Next to Past President Freeman, please.
Thank you. And that's what I was trying to bring up. And then the automatic withdrawal, that's when I said my question through the chair to this committee was then what's the enforcement? Because the president can just reassign the person over and over again as well. So I'm tracking with the policy and the direction we're the spirit of it, but without the enforcement piece or teeth piece, that's a challenge. The walking part is my issue more so than the 5. And I still think that I like how you quantified the hours, but there's some of us, if I look across the dais right now, 1, 2, 3 are retired. I'm not sure if you still run a business, so you're still going, you're still working. 3 are working, but yet we're all giving everything we have. Like I just ran out because I got teenagers getting ready to drive from the airport down to the south side, and it's a tornado warning. And Mama Bear calling, worried, should we not allow them to go to their practices? There are things that we all have different lifestyles here. And so I don't want the innocence of a parent of 5 kids or a parent or guardian of 1 kid and only 1 in the house to be penalized if their child is sick and they have to go pick that child up from school. There's an excuse, but after 3, they're withdrawn. Is it unlimited excusals? I'm just trying to make sure that I'm understanding all of this.
Through the chair, yes, it's automatic. If you say to the committee chair, my daughter is sick, she's got school, she's got a fever, I got to take her home, you are excused. You don't count towards the in terms of your unexcused absence. That is an excused absence.
That makes me feel better. And then is there a way then that we can add language to this that says in the case of excusals that rule of 5 is reduced to 4? Like
I'm open to that suggestion.
Like I agree with Councilmember Gay in that point. That I think if there's a way of,
I'm fine with that. Anything to encourage active participation is all I'm trying to get to.
Can you help me create the language? Oh boy, look at the attorneys.
Through the chair. So could you clarify, Councilmember Freeman? So right now,
yes, ma'am.
It says standing committee quorum is 5 members in this bill right now. So what would you like to do?
So what I would like to say is, in the case of an excused absence by the chair of the committee, the number 5, whatever that term was used before 5, shall or may 6, 7 be reduced to 4. So therefore, we can have action. Because now we're going from 7 members down to 6. She's asking, can we change the quorum? That's a good question.
Through the chair.
The current quorum is 4. Am I correct?
That is correct. Current quorum.
So is there a way that we can keep what we have and then add, like we can always strengthen? I thought we could always strengthen laws or ordinances. Strengthen it based on an excusal. Can we change how we the perspective of how we're looking at it?
Mr. Chair, I think I can offer that.
Yes, please.
Michelle, perhaps in the event there are 2 excused absences on a given committee, the quorum limit can be moved to 4. So if you have 7, it's 5. It means if all 7 may be there, but if you have 2 excused absences, that takes us down to 5. Then all we're just saying is, in order for action to be taken with 2 excused absences, 4 is necessary because it takes 4 votes to approve something anyway. So, does that make sense?
Through the chair, yes, it does.
Thank you.
And I think that's acceptable.
But Mr. Freeman, if you don't mind, I'll offer that as an amendment. My own bill.
We have a motion and second on the amendment. Michelle, are you comfortable restating the amendment?
Sure.
Well, Councilmember or Past President Freeman wanted his name on there too. Can we have a dual amendment?
Okay, through the chair, the Freeman-Boylan amendment is adding to the change in Council Rule 2.210A1, the quorum requirement, that a standing committee quorum shall be 5 members, and then we'll add, the amendment would be, in the event that there are 2 excused absences, do you want to say just excused absences, the quorum requirement shall be reduced to 4 for that meeting alone.
Okay, yeah, we have a motion and second on that amendment. Councilmember Gay, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I like the ability for the chair to have the leadway to sit there and evaluate the excused absences to say if there's only 1 excused, and he's got 4 there, to be able to still move it forward and not to be. I would like to just see the chair have the discretion to be able to keep it moving forward. If it's something that's a bigger bill, then he's got the discretion to say, I don't have 5 here, then we'll table this. But just needs to be some kind of discretion with the actual chair or the president for this. That's my only. I like the ability to have to be able to move to a 4 standing to keep things moving forward. But that's my only concern with it. Thank you.
So, are you good with this amendment? Is that what your bottom line was, Councilmember Gay?
Kinda.
Oh, okay.
But I would just I guess get clarity on that if there's 2 excused absence, then the chair can go ahead with 4 only, but that's excused.
Mm-hmm.
But what if 1 is not excused and he has 1 excused? It just, there's so many hypotheticals that we could be doing here to where I just think there needs to be some unilateral position that the chair can maneuver in.
Michelle, is you commenting on what he just said? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, Ms. Carher just pointed out something that I think you all should consider as well. Part of this legislation is that no more than 1 council member may be excused from a regular or meeting of a standing committee, with the exception that additional absences can be allowed for medical reasons. So just something to think about. I don't know, just something for you all to consider.
So you're saying that amendment doesn't address that because it's only saying 1 excused absence is allowable.
Well, to the chair, just to the extent you all are talking about when there's 2 excused absences of a committee, there's only 1 allowed under this legislation with additional for medical. So, still more than 1 could be allowed, but I anticipate that should this pass, that would be reduced, the frequency of that. It's up for you all to decide.
Yes, we'll go back to Councilmember Boylan, please.
Yeah, I think we're close. I like where we are. I did want to speak quickly to Councilmember Gay's concern. By putting it in the rule, and you say you'd rather have it in the discretion of the committee chair, but that makes it difficult for the committee chair, quite honestly. If there's a rule, there's a rule. And then to say, well, it's okay for Councilman Boylan to step out, but Councilman White, you can't. It just, get that excused. If you have, to your point, we've got 7, we've got 1 excused absence, and another one who was excused because of an illness situation to get you down to that 5 number. So that's really what I was talking. When I said excused, I meant one was a planned excuse and one was an unplanned excuse to your concern. But I am afraid that if we say, well, let's leave it in the discretion of the chair is going to be in an awkward position. And that's why even when we said, the current rules say if for the special committees, if you're not there for 3 consecutive meetings, it's at the discretion of the council president and I didn't want to put the council president in that situation to say, do they make a determination whether or not? So that's the rule. If you miss 3, you're out. So that would be my concern by leaving it in the hands of the committee chair for the council member Gay through the chair to your concern and your comment. I'm afraid that's going to put the committee chairs in an awkward position because then they're going to have to play judge and jury in that process. So keeping it straightforward in the language, and I get it's a little messy right now, but let's give it a shot and let's see if it works. Because what's the intent? The overall intent is to have active engaged by as many council members as possible, because that's our responsibility to the constituents who elected us, pure and simple. And all I'm trying to do is to get us to a point in time that we understand that and codify that responsibility.
Yeah, we're on the Boylan-Freeman or Freeman-Boylan amendment here. Are we looking at possibly amending that amendment based on this discussion, or okay? Because otherwise, I'd like to take up that amendment. We have 2 more people in the queue. Councilmember Amaro, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot what I was going to say. This morning I said to myself, even though Boylan is the sponsor, this is what I call the Tom Landry bill. If you guys know Tom Landry, he was the football coach of Dallas Cowboys, and he said one of his greatest challenge was trying to get grown men to do what they don't want to do to accomplish what they desire. We were sent here with a charge, and my concern with this legislation at this point is the tight restriction on council meetings, where 2, if you miss 2, it becomes a problem. And the reality is that in our lives and in our journey, you may end up having to miss more than 2 meetings in a cycle. What then? I like where we are, where the fact that we've made, through this amendment, we've made an adjustment to where we can have a quorum to be able to do the work of the city. If we don't have 5, we go back to 4, and we can still take action. Having chaired on the waterway, one of the most frustrating things is having legislation and you don't have a quorum to be able to take action. So you're almost wasting your time, if you will. And so I think we're in a good place. Personally, I think it's a shame that we need this, because if we're all supposed to do what we're supposed to do, then we would be here. I don't know how exacerbated the problem is. I do know on some special committees, it is frustrating when you sit there on a special committee and it's just you and the chair, when there were 4 people assigned or 5 people assigned. And so I've seen that. So I get that frustration. And that's, but as far as the standing committees, everyone that I've served on, we've been able to have a quorum to do the people's work. And the only one that has been a challenge is the Waterways Commission, which is a whole different equation of who serves. But so I just wanted to share that. I don't know where we're going. I think we're in a good place right now with this amendment. Thank you.
All right, back to Councilmember Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be quick. I'll go ahead. I've expressed my concerns. Can we make the changes? Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. and raise the bar, and I'm all for that. I'll go ahead and be supporting the Freeman amendment. And,
Boylan. Freeman Boylan.
So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, let's take a vote on the Boylan, Freeman, Boylan amendment, please. All those in favor, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The Freeman, Freeman amendment passes. We have a motion and second on the bill as amended. Past President Freeman, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm just going to try to take a stab at one last thing on this walking, and then I'll be done with it. And maybe Councilmember Boylan can make sense of this for me. Is there a way to create language that if we have the amount of people at a meeting, so the quorum is not an issue, and there's a sensitive vote in front, and the chair, in the beginning, we all do announcements, and everyone took roll, and the chair knows or is aware someone's in there. I mean, there's nothing prohibiting them from doing it right now, because I know we did it in LUZ one time on a tough vote. But is there a way to codify that to where we empower the chair? I know earlier you had some concerns about the subjectivity of a chair being judge and jury. But in this scenario, I mean, it's the same thing. They're going to be judge and jury, but we know that they're in the building. We know that it is a tough vote. And saying that we're going to table it until they come back or hold them accountable.
Yes, Councilmember Boylan, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, Mr. Councilmember Freeman, you just answered your own question. It is the discretion of the chair at that point in time to say, I'm going to table this until we have every council member necessary to vote on this to give it the kind of attention it deserves. That's a standing practice now. If we want to codify that, to say that, to give the chair that, I don't know that I want to put it in this bill, because as you can see, I've got enough roadblocks already. I tried to keep this simple, stupid, but I didn't, obviously.
No, you did good with it, and for me, that is kind of my hang-up. I appreciate everything, the hard work that's put into it, but I concur with my colleague, Councilman Amaro. I feel like this is our obligation to do our best to try to attend committee meetings and to try to attend council meetings. But I do like, I would think, because the biggest challenge with this is the lack of enforcement, right? So if there's already a lack of enforcement, I'm like, let's just go big then. I want to add the walking piece, and I want to try to find Councilmember Gay in this rules committee today and get him to a yes, because I'm currently I'm at a maybe right now without the taking walks part, because I know I'm going to do my best to try to make meetings, and if I can't, it's excused, and if I go beyond a certain extent on excused absences, I'm willing to take the consequence. But I usually have a pretty good reason while I was out. But through the chair to Councilmember Gay, if we were to find a way that the chair has the power that you were looking for, is that something that could get you to a yes and get this bill to be unanimously, hopefully passed by this council?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, that would be the perfect scenario. Are we going to be able to get there? I'm not sure if we will. By giving some leeway here to get to 4, to where, and I share Councilman Morrow's sentiments about showing up to a waterways meeting and you can't take action. So that's frustrating on that part. But I see enough on this bill by doing a pathway to 4 to support it and move it forward, and hopefully by the time it comes to full council, Councilman Boylan's found another way to make it even easier for me. But as it is now, I'll go ahead and be a yes, and as I think about it before council, I'll reserve my right to change it to no.
Thank you. Thank you for the discussion. Michelle?
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair, I just wanted to remind you all of Council Rule 4.501, which addresses absence from meetings, and it addresses both council meetings and committee meetings, and it reads that no member present at any meeting of the council shall absent himself or herself from the meeting without permission from the chair and prior notice given. So it does address that. To the extent it's enforced, you all would know better than I.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's a great point. Back to Councilman Borland's point, it's on the chair. Like in this situation, it would be on me to actually enforce what is already written. We tend to say we need to come up with a new amendment or legislation or whatever, and then you'll hear comments, why don't we enforce what we already have? Well, I think that applies in this case. That responsibility lies on the committee chairs to get people in their seats. But I can hold things up, and I can hold things up until they get back in their seat. They're physically present in the green room, down the hall, in their office. I can hold things up until they get back in their seat, and we can proceed forward. I think that is, one action and enforcement, or there's some teeth in that, because if you're that person holding things up, you're holding your colleagues up, I think there's a difference there. Past President Freeman.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this is ready.
Do you have any ball games or
I
any
think this is ready to
practices
be
coming
voted
up?
on. But here's my thing: is during the budget we had an enforcement, and that was we had colleagues actually leave the property because JSO could go get them, and that's by law with the budget. Outside of that, there is no other enforcement, right? So for me, being an educator, being a coach, and I love that you mentioned that, when you don't have guardrails and you don't have enforcement, it does not have the same impact that we're hoping for. I appreciate where the councilman is going here, and I think that there's going to be a lot of good that comes from these discussions because it's going to still travel, and I'm going to add more value in LUZ because if everyone up here has probably served on LUZ. Have you been on LUZ yet, Mr. Chair? So no. Well, once you serve on LUZ, you'll understand why I'm asking the questions I'm asking right now. That being said, I'm going to support it here, but at the end of the day, the walking is the issue with me. It's not attendance, and it's not the unexcused absences.
All right, and as I said about a half an hour ago, I think we have 3 more shots at this. So the discussion's been great, but are you guys in any of the 3 remaining committees? Yeah. Oh, and you can visit. So we do have opportunities to do that. So, well, as I said, that's why I did, to make sure we got 19, because you're going to have all views on this, and I don't want to just go straight from 1 or 2 committees straight to full council and then people to bellyache about it. You have an opportunity. So, yeah, I appreciate all the discussion. Is everybody prepared to vote on what we have for now, and then be able to keep thinking if there are other ways you can tighten this up even more? I welcome it. I really do. And as I said, you have 3 more shots to be able to do that before full council. Michelle?
Through the chair, the one thing I just wanted to address, Councilmember Freeman, I think some of your concern is how do you enforce that council rule? And to that, I would say, if you are a member of a committee where someone gets up and leaves and the chair does not require that they stay, you could challenge a decision of the chair, essentially, which just is, there's no debate, but if you got a second, you could vote on that. Majority vote would compel the chair to comply with that rule.
And that's a great point, Michelle, and I'm all for it. Hold the chair accountable. Members, hold the chair accountable. I'm all for it, because as you all pointed out, that's why we're here. We're here to do the people's business, and if there's somebody playing games and keeping us from doing that, that's not acceptable. So great discussions, great input by Michelle as well. So I think with all of that being said, please open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0137 as amended. Very, very lively. I almost felt like we were in neighborhoods again. I appreciate that discussion. No, really good. So I appreciate that. Okay. And I apologize to all the grants, public service grants, folks. You know, look at you all. I owe you lunch or breakfast or something here. Item 10, 2026-0138. We have a motion and second on the bill. We have Past President Freeman in the queue. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think I may just start coming to neighborhoods as a guest. I love how you said you can attend it, but you don't get to offer amendments. You got to hope your colleagues choose to, and they can. I've seen it at times where they twist your words, and when your spirit of what you want doesn't turn out to be that. So we only get one more bite each time.
I'll be there for you. I promise.
Got you. So I did watch this morning, and almost thought about driving down because I wanted to make sure all the facts were on there. And it's a great conversation, and I truly enjoyed the work that I had with PSG on the legislation for micro grants. But one of the things that came up to me that was a little concerning, but I found myself, was in this 30%. So if you look at when you look at the amendments or on the back when it talks about fiscal year 25-26, and the 3%, the 200,000. If any of you all recall the conversation, and you probably don't, I was probably one of the few that was leaning into it. There was 200,000 that was set aside for micro grants. Now I'm just going to take you through a journey, and I'm sorry, and no, I don't have practice, but I hate to have to go through this exercise again. But this started back when Dr. Grass had taken the lead, or was asked to take the lead on the micro grants program that was created during my council presidency year. During that time, working with the administration, they had assigned to the microgrants program, MVP, a FTE position. There was a position that was full-time for administering and being an administrator of these grants. It was $200,000. It was supposed to be 10 organizations at $20,000 or 20 at $10,000. So that was the point. It was zero-based, and so you see that at the top, which means the council, if it was something important to them, could use that microgrant section as something that they could use for their strategic initiatives and their request. It was mentioned that the program never took off. Well, it took off. It's just the flight that they took off on was not the flight plan that I put on them. And it became a 3-year program when essentially it was supposed to be a pilot program, 1 year. I don't know where they're at in that program. I heard them say this morning that it is housed with KHA. That was never the intent, per se, because public service grants 18 and older. KHA can only, we passed legislation that I led, and I thank you guys for that we can go up to 24, but initially it's 18 and over for public service grants. So when they say it didn't take off, it took off, but they had it in a 4-year program. Now, working with Ms. Maribel, and Dr. Hervey came up with you put a lot of time, a lot of hours into it, and I was supportive of everything. And then I think I heard this morning that it was not the will of the administration to move forward. That so be it. That's fine. But there's still $200,000 out there. And this is where I'm going to come to finance tomorrow, and I'm going to ask for those dollars to be appropriated to JSEB. At one point, I thought I got my $200,000 confused. There was $200,000 that I sent to ITD to do a dashboard. Found out technically that it just couldn't be done in this cycle. That money is now back, and it's in the YEC program, and they're using that to do the analytics for that Youth Empowerment Committee. This other $200,000 that's out there was supposed to be for microgrants. We fought hard to get that onto the books, and it is said that it's not being used because there's no desire. Well, I know I have a desire for JSEB. And I will go back and talk to Mr. Grant and see if he still has the vision that he had for utilizing micro grants in the JSEB format. And I know that there are a ton of JSEBs right now that would line up for micro grants. And so I would like to, I don't know how to do this, but that $200,000 that was set aside in this 3%, I would like to procure those dollars for JSEBs for microgrants and still continue with the vision that I started several years ago with this microgrant program. It has been something that I believe was a great incubator, a great initiator of this conversation. But I don't know, through the chair to Ms. Kerr, I know talked to Mr. Peterson, and kind of gave him a precursor, preempt him on this. Can you help me understand if that's a possibility?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, I would defer to Michelle, but I believe that would be best accomplished through separate legislation, since the bill that's before you is setting forth the priorities for next fiscal year.
Understood. Michelle, because you were in the meeting today, tell me the best posture to put in. I wanted to put this on my colleagues' radar because I wanted to know where future legislation may be coming from. But what are your thoughts on the day, if there's anything that can be done?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, you can file separate legislation. Absolutely. My office would be happy to work on that to move that money out of PSG into the JSEB program.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So I wanted to place a pinhole there. The next question that I had, and I don't know if any of you all watch, you're the liaison to public service grants. And so, Councilmember Boylan, you may recall that the chair, and I don't see, there he is, made an executive decision as chair, the power of the chair, to appoint someone from the administration to Public Service Grants Council. And it was in the middle of the meeting. I don't know the exact timestamp, but it was, I want to say, Dr. Parvez. And the challenge that I have with that is you have volunteers that are signing up to do work, and now we're appointing somebody in close decision-making from the other side. I mean, we as council members are liaisons, but do you weigh in as much? I mean, I know for me, I try to listen and answer and speak when they ask questions. I know Dr. Parvez has been playing a big role in that process over there, giving them data that he's collecting from United Way and other areas, but now hearing that he's not acting in a support staff role, but as a member, to me is a little concerning. So I'm not quite sure if that's the case or not, but if you have an answer to that.
Through the chair, if I might respond to Councilmember Freeman's comments. Number one, I think Michelle was correct. What you're talking about, the $200,000, we can talk about that separately. What Dr. Parvez Ahmed was doing, frankly, was making presentations on the state of Jack's work that he's doing to help the council, and come on up, Mary Bell, if you like, to help them understand the priorities. Okay, so that's really what that was all about. So all he was doing is providing advice. He's not a controlling member or an involved member otherwise. He made a presentation at 2 meetings ago and was making a determination that he was going to be a standing item on the agenda to update us on whatever changes have been happening in terms of.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair to, I guess I can ask Ms. Maribel, but is the data that he's giving and the recommendation, from my understanding, that's the same data I can go out and collect from United Way or anywhere else. But through the chair to the chair, Mr. Pablo Diaz de Sandy, if you can give your name. Is he here? That's not him?
Vice Chair.
That's the Vice Chair. So the
chair, Vice Chair Daniel Henry is here.
Got it.
Mr. Diaz de Sandy is traveling.
So he's traveling. All right. So my question is what was the goal of naming a staffer like a part of the Public Service Grants Commission Council?
Okay. Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, I'm not aware of anyone naming anyone there. Dr. Ahmed has been attending both the Budget Committee meetings and the MVP Committee meetings and PSG Council meetings, assisting with the information and helping us to also analyze the other data.
I'm fully supportive of that. I'm fully supportive of the supportive role, and maybe I have to go back and watch the tape again and get the exact language. But my understanding was that he was going to be an active part of the process, not a support member of the process moving forward. And I'll go back and check the minutes on that, and I know Councilman Boylan will as well. But those were the issues that I had and the concerns, and I will definitely look forward to supporting public service grants and the work that they do. And I don't think I have any more questions for now, but I will
I will go back and pull the tape on that. I mean, did you have something, Mr. Dillon?
I'm going to interject here as a chair. I know we're bouncing around quite a bit here, but the first comment you made was talking about PSG micro grant program going from 3% to 0%. I thought it was I would think it would be good for us to discuss that more. No, it was 3% last year, correct? So that's where I don't want to leave that go and say, let's, in a roundabout way, let's go at that. Why don't we have?
I got you.
Why don't we have?
I can answer that.
Please let me, if you would, Ms. Figueroa, would you talk about that, because you went to mention it this morning and you did partially, but I want to make sure we go into.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chair.
I want to make sure we give you an opportunity to explain it a little bit more here, so that hopefully we can get to a better place on understanding, well, what's transpired to this point, and then if we can find a better way forward, let's do that and be able to get in line with what past President Freeman and many others put a lot into making sure this micro grant program actually came to being and was able to get enacted. So if you would, please explain why we went from 3% to 0%.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Last year, if you'll allow me to go back to last year, fiscal year ending 2026, the category D was 0%. The administration did not put any funding in the budget for the micro grant program because obviously of our revenue situation. It was to remain flat, and there had not been funding for that from the administration's request. The City Council decided to take $200,000 from public service grants and put that into the micro grant program. So that's where the 3% comes from.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to miss that. I wanted to make sure we captured that, as Council President Freeman said, and there were others involved in that.
Yes, sir.
They felt strongly about that, and so there was a reason for doing that and reason for the body supporting that. And then it appears we go back to 0 without having that exchange and trying to work through that to talk through the value of those micro grants, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. If I may, the current status of the micro grant program, the administration did not discontinue that or say they would not support that. The administration, in fact, publicly praised the Public Service Grant Council for the program that they recently developed for this particular funding, okay, which was modeled after the safety and crime reduction. What the CFO said in the public meeting for Public Service Grant Council is that it was currently on pause because we had to deal with CBA and we had to deal with the audit corrective action items at this time, and it's the same resource that would be overseeing this that is needed for that. It is the full intent of the PSG Grants Council to get this back on course, to implement this program. I believe that it is premature at this time to make other plans for those funds, perhaps in August or September when the money runs out at the end of the fiscal year. Then decisions can be made as to whether or not, if the funds have not been used by then, as to what would be done. But it is the full intent of the PSG Council to utilize those $200,000 in the budget today for the microgrant program as they have approved it.
Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding here, and I guess there'll be other comments, but you can do everything else, but you can't do that. So help me with that.
Yes, sir. The microgrant program, as it's currently designed, would be at least 10 recipients. These are small agencies, small nonprofits, and our experience with small agencies is they take sometimes double the amount of work of a regular grant. To Councilman Salem's point, when he introduced the legislation to make the minimum $25,000, he had very good reason for doing that because it takes a considerable amount of work. So even though it seems 10 does not seem like a lot of grants to monitor, it is going to take significant time to be able to work with these agencies and do that properly. There is one resource assigned that was going to oversee that, a manager that was going to oversee that. She has been pulled from this work and is now going to be the person who is in the interim until staffing is in place, will be late summer, who is going to be assisting with moving along the CBA, the Eastside Grants Program, and is also the person, because it is a grants compliance manager, who is going to be overseeing to make sure that the corrective action items from the council auditor's audit that was recently published are completed. So we've had to put a pause on this for now to be able to focus on those things. One resource does not have the capacity to do those three things and do them well, so we had to prioritize. But it is the full intent of the PSG Council to get that back on track and to implement the microgrants program in this budget year.
Okay, I'm appreciative of that explanation. At least we have all that on the record. People have heard that and they understand what you're thinking. I don't think that will satisfy the folks who are concerned that it just went away and we didn't have that exchange or that. But we have that opportunity right now. So I'm gonna stop right there for me. I don't want to take up all the time. I'm going to go to Past President Freeman for his response here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ms. Maribel, for putting that out there. Ms. Rodriguez, I think I got there. Ms. Figueroa for putting that out there. And this is just rehashing. It's the same conversation. It's like Groundhog's Day that we had a year ago, we've had 2 years ago. It's at 0% because that's how I had the legislation drafted. That it's got to be important to the council if we're going to try to fund anything in microgrants. So any dollars that you see in the microgrant program was because a council member, and in this case it was me, put forth a debate and a discussion to this body, put forth a good case, and it was supported by the body. It wasn't because the administration didn't put it in. It's because there was excess funds. I want to say it came out of discretionary funds, and it was reallocated to PSG for the MVP program. Now, the MVP program that I was able to draft with our OGC, it has changed now, and I appreciate the work that they've done, and I've given my full consent. Like, okay, I agree with the direction you're trying to head in it. Yes, 20,000. We have a new bill. It's too small, but 200,000 now can still be 25. And it's less people, but it still can be done. But I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on that. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I don't have any more questions for you all, and the chair may, but the last thing I'm going to say is which is new, is when you start looking at acute, prevention and diversion, self-sufficiency, stability, you look at those areas, and I'm just going to say it. You look in Tallahassee, they just passed legislation in Tallahassee to ensure, it obviously didn't pass here locally, but to ensure that where these dollars are going, that they are fully aligned with the vision of this council as well. And so when we start saying, okay, we're going to allocate monies to these different agencies, or these bodies that are controlled by these different, cultural council being one and others, you might want to ask yourself, what is self-sufficiency and stability? Is that rent control coming into play? And if they feel like it, now we leverage those dollars to pay off rent. I mean, this goes a lot further than you're realizing. And so I caution us all to just kind of go along to get along here. The 200,000 to me, that conversation, those dollars are going to hopefully be reappropriated to JSEB, and you will see in the upcoming budget, it'll be zero. And unless the administration puts money in, it's going to come to us zero by their recommendation. And unless somebody up here fights for it, it's going to leave the budget process zero. So I just want to make sure that we're good on that. But I'm just telling you, I have some concerns with acute 30%, prevention, diversion 35%, self-sufficiency and stability 35%, without having clear understanding of what those areas, how far can we go? How far is the scope? When we didn't have those types of things, education, pretty easy. So I'm not going to be against this, but I'm just telling you all, do your homework.
Mr. Delane, please.
Thank you to the chair and to the body, through the chair to the body. I would say the administration is happy to talk with y'all on an individual basis about any of the activities of the grants department, any vision that you would like to see forward. At this point, we're 2.5 hours into this meeting. I think it might be more productive to do that in the future. You can just reach out to me or Ms. Norris, and we'll set up that meeting to help you get more comfortable with where we are and what we're doing, and also why.
All right, thank you. We have Past President Freeman.
And thank you so much, and thanks for the time clock. Listen, I remember a council where we didn't count seconds and minutes in committee. I remember a council where the council president didn't allow committee work on Tuesday nights of a council. So this is where the work gets done. If it's done in 90 minutes or if it's done in 6 hours. I welcome a meeting because I do have some concerns with if these dollars are going to be used for affordable housing, which this body is going to come and the finance committee is going to come and say it's redundant. And I don't want to see us go through that whole issue again next year. I think it can be avoided if we have these conversations. So I welcome the opportunity to come to my office. It's been a while since you've been there. I will say that through the chair to Mr. Delaney, but Brittany comes in often, and so I don't have this lack of clarity and understanding. But from my watching at the 30,000-foot level and the last meeting, and I'm going to go back again on why the chair made that decision for someone from the administration to be engaged at a deeper level rather than support. I feel like this is going to be a vehicle that's being leveraged to do some things that maybe this body would not get 10 votes for. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to comment on something that Past President Freeman was referencing, is about the what some of these funds are going for, and I think it's imperative that we emphasize that that everything complies with our state laws of what is our government spends money on, and the DEI, whatever it is, it better be in line. I mean, there's no, the guardrails are there. There's no gray area. It's black and white. And so I just admonish everyone that's taking these funds and utilizing them comply with the law. That's simple as that. So thank you.
Okay, Mr. Delaney.
Through the chair to Mr. Gay, I can assure you that the administration always has and always will follow the law in anything that we do. So that isn't going to be a concern as far as it goes to things that maybe just aren't desired by a council member or a couple of council members. With the PSG grants, I mean, there's a whole committee that's appointed. The council has 7 of the appointments. It's not, none of this is being done out of the public view. It's all above board. It's all according to the law, and it's all according to the powers dedicated to both sides of the city government here.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm going to make one more set of comments, but I mean, earlier in my comments, I just wanted to make sure, because it appeared Vice Chair felt so strongly about the micro grants, and I don't know all the history of that, so I needed to get a little smarter on that. But I want to make sure we don't miss something that's very important to those who have been elected on this body, and that we somehow have to work around it. So my hope is we can get to a better place. I realize the pause you've mentioned, but I'm hoping through additional meetings, sessions, we can get to a better place where we actually have, if that's important to many of the council members, that we actually have a solid way forward on the micro grant aspect of this. And this comes before finance also this week. There was a comment on the percentage breakdown. I think it would be good to have the information about that on what was discussed and the changes that occurred for the finance meeting as well. So that's all I have. Anyone else? So we have Councilmember Boylan. Thank you. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Maribel and folks, thank you for being here and hanging in through this process. I think we're going to get this done. I did want to sort of hone back in on 2 points. Number one, what you're seeing, the modest change apart from the microgrant program that you see here is acute coming down just a little bit, because the demand for the other services and opportunities for the other services is really where the focus was. It also speaks to the fact, because we are doing prevention and diversion and self-sufficiency, the acute need is not as great as it once was, thanks to the good work of the PSG. The other point, and this is supporting Councilmember Freeman's, and I know what Maribel, you and I had this conversation, but the $200,000 is not going to be impacted by that drawdown or the drawback. So that money should be available should we move down the road to remove this and move those funds over to JSAB. That is something that's probably plausible as we move forward, as she said, when we get a better handle as to where we are in the process. So we should be good. But the focus of this bill individually is to where we're going in the short term. They spent a lot of time working on the microgrant program. I fully expect it to come back. The demands of the CBA, the demands of the audit right now, it made it very difficult for them to adequately manage credibly, and then the stewardship, as I mentioned this morning, to take it on right now. So, but we are full steam ahead in terms of keeping that program in the queue for future years. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay. I think we're ready to open the ballot and record your votes.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2026-0138. And as Councilmember Boylan said, thank you so much for hanging in there, for your patience and your time today. Okay, we move on to item number 11, 2026-0139. We have a motion second on the Neighborhoods Amendment. No one in the queue. All those in favor of the Neighborhoods Amendment, please signify by saying yes. Those opposed, no. Neighborhoods Amendment passes. We have motion and second on the bill as amended. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2026-0139 as amended in neighborhoods. Item 12, 2026-0140 is deferred due to noticing requirements. See, item 13, 2026-0142. We have a motion and second on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. We have a motion and second on the bill as amended. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0142 as amended. We've already taken up item number 14, item number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, and item number 22, 2026-0158 is deferred at the request of the appointee. Item 23, 2026-0187 is on second read. Item 24, 2026-0191 is on second read. Item 25, 2026-0192 is on second read. Item 26, 2026-0193. May I get a motion? We have motion and second. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you approve 2026-0193. Item 27, 2026-0194. We have a motion and a second on the bill. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0194. Item 28, 2026-0195. We have a motion and second on the bill. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0195. Item number 29, 2026-0196. We have a motion and second on the bill. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approved 2026-0196. We've already taken up item 30, so item 31, 2026-0198. We have motion and second on the bill. No one in the queue, please open your ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
I'd like to be added to that as well. Thank you. And appreciate your help in all these ads. We have also past President White would like to be added as well. Item 32, 2026-0199. We have motion and second on the bill. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approved 2026-0199. We've already taken up 33 and 34. Item 35, 2026-0202 is on second read, as is item 36, 2026-0203 is on second read. Item 37, 2026-0204 is on second read. And item 38, 2026-0205 is on second read. And we've deferred item number 39, 2026-0206. Any more items? Yes, we have quite a few people in the queue. We'll first go to Councilmember Amaro, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before the start of this meeting, it was tweeted out that Susie Wiles had been diagnosed with breast cancer at an early stage and is about to undergo treatment. I have worked with Susie as a reporter when she was here in City Hall, and have always admired her wit, her grit, her strength. As a woman navigating a difficult world of politics, she is a strong woman, and I'm pretty sure she will give this diagnosis a fight. But it can be a lonely journey. People often feel they're all alone. So what I wanted to do is just pause for a moment to encourage everyone on the dais to, in their private time, to lift her up in their praise as she goes through this treatment, so she can feel emotionally and spiritually that her walk, she's not alone in her walk. I just want to share that.
Thank you for that. Excellent. We'll next go to past President White, please.
Great words, Pastor. Thank you. I would like to go back just for a second and add a co-sponsor, and I want to publicly do it. Item 25, which is 2026-192, Randy Wise. Please add me as a co-sponsor to that, please. Thank you, Chair.
All right, we'll next go to past President Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just want to thank this body for your patience with me. I watch neighborhoods and have found myself in the beginning joking how long neighborhoods would go, right? And then the response has been, we now take issues up and we get to the bottom, we get into the weeds. But I also want to remind this body that although I'm the only one not on neighborhoods, rules is one of your top standing committees behind finance. And so, although it's going to be redundant for you all, I do and will continue to ask for your patience, as well as whoever from the administration when they're here, from representing the office, and not to put us on a time clock. with rules, finance. If we can't handle potentially being here 4 or 5 hours, then I would ask that you ask the council president not to assign you to it, because this is the meat of this is what backbone of our government right now. We're talking about policy. So thank you again for your patience with me today. I really appreciate the support from the chair and how you carried yourself and leading the meeting. And that I'm done and no practice. It's raining.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Next is Councilman Boylan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was real remiss in not grabbing this a little sooner. Item number 25 and the appointment of Randy Wise to the JEA. I'm going to, probably won't be the conversation we need to have today, but I think next week, and I've had this conversation with Mr. Wise already. I'm going to recommend a deferral on this. We've got a cloud hanging over the council president and the investigation of his prior person, and I don't want Randy to get caught up in that. I have a huge amount of respect for Randy. I had an extended conversation with him with respect to the prospect of deferring this appointment until the dust settles, the cloud clears with respect to Council President Carrico and his situation. He fully understands that. It certainly is at the discretion of the committee chair to defer it. I'm not going to offer it, given the time today, to suggest that as a vote for today. But if it comes up, and it will come up the next time around, I will be looking for some consideration on a deferral of this appointment until such time the state attorney has addressed and satisfied all of our concerns with respect to the actions of the council president.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know that we'll get into that today, but as you pointed out, it's on second read. And on a related matter, given you brought up JEA related appointment, there's also the reappointment, item 36 of Chair Joe DeSalvo as well. So it's my recommendation, rather than getting into a drawn-out discussion today or an extended discussion today, we have 2 weeks. So, you know, colleagues, you've heard what Councilmember Boylan has said. We have 2 weeks, and to be able to think through this and be able to know there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. We see it out in the news. We see it in a special committee. We see it back and forth with the administration and the council. There's a lot going on. So it's up to us as individuals and a body to be able to think through that, and then that'll be part of our, at least in my case, that'll be part of what I think through, as well as anybody else's input when these come before us for action in 2 weeks. I guess it'll be more than 2 weeks because we have a, let's see, what's the date? We have a 5th week, correct? So it'll be in April, actually, correct? Okay. So we have a little bit of time, and I know Past President White wanted to make some comments as well. Thank you. Please.
I'll just take 30 seconds. Certainly respect Mr. Boylan, and I'd want to hear from Mr. Wise. But at this time, on the other side of that coin, there's an attorney told me one time, no matter how thin the pancake is, there's two sides. And they might just need some strong leadership there now, and that man would bring strong leadership to wherever he goes. But anyway, we still got 2 or 3 weeks to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Councilmember Amaro, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I known Randy Wise forever and a day. Great guy. I love his commitment to public service, whether it's a union boss, a firefighter, or a position on the JEA board. And I asked him very flatly, why would he want to step into this pile of doo-doo, if you will? And I did, in those words.
Is that French or a technical term?
It's Swahili. I have no idea. But my point is that it's opening the door for a very contentious moment. And it's a shame because Randy is a good guy. And so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I just want to share that.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just say briefly, my comments in my conversation, we had an extensive conversation. He's a great guy, and I told him just flat out, and I believe this. He'd do well on any board. Just wanted to get his perspective, and he said he just wanted to help. He's just trying to help. So I'll just leave it there. And there'll be more when we come back to actually talk about these two appointments as well as others on our agenda. Anything from the staff? Anything further besides what's for dinner? Thank you all so much, colleagues. Really appreciate the lively discussion, the serious back and forth. It's very much appreciated. So thank you very much. We are adjourned.